Please know, as we get into this, my gameplay or my PC decided to like act up, so it may be a little laggy, just to let you know. Okay, now that you know, let's continue. What's up guys, how's everybody doing on this fine, lovely evening or day, depending on when this goes out? Today is going to be something a little different, because it's going to be more of a story time rather than reacting to stuff like what would usually happen. I've been experimenting with a lot of different things, so I could see how it would all turn out or how it all go. Maybe I'll have a lot more fun doing this, I don't know. We'll see how the wind takes us. That's not the right saying. We'll see where the wind takes us. But yeah, let's get into it. So this story takes place when I was around like 6 or 7 or maybe even 8. I was like slightly older, but not like anywhere from 10 to 15, if you catch my drift. And at that age, I was a pretty good kid. I could say that. I was a good kid at that age. I had relatively good grades. I didn't really get in trouble as far as I know. Until like farther along, I definitely did, but we're getting to that in a second. Okay, so the time of this took place, or the time where it started, was like in the summertime, where I had to go to a camp like outside, like in a different city. And this was pretty much the first time where I was like outside of a city without my parents, so it was pretty new to me. But yeah, this camp was specifically about like teaching you like adult things like shopping and cooking and stuff like that. So naturally, our camp advisors or counselors, whatever you want to call it, they took us to a grocery store. And so basically we were shopping for, I don't really remember what, but it was like some type of food that we were supposed to be shopping ingredients for. We were all in our own little groups of like 4 people, and yeah, we would all just like split up and find all the types of ingredients we needed to make whatever we were making. I honestly don't remember. Let's just say it was pasta. The teacher split us up. I was paired with 3 other people. 2 were boys, 1 was a girl. And keep in mind, at my age, I did not like girls. They had cooties and it was yucky. That's gonna be very important to the story later on, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so later on, I don't really remember how long it took. It could have been an hour, it could have been less than an hour, but at the end of the day, we got all of our ingredients for the pasta or whatever it was we were making. I still do not remember to this day, but that's not horribly important. So we were at the checkout line, right? And so you know how like at the checkout line there's this area full of like candy and stuff and gum and stuff like that. So I saw the Hubba Bubba gum pack, and I just fell in love. I wanted the Hubba Bubba gum pack so badly. I just really wanted that so badly, right? And so I asked this counselor, can I have this pack of gum please? And cause we gave the camp money for like concessions and stuff like that. I was like, can I use the money to get my gum pack or whatever? And you know what this counselor said to me? They said no, which I did not take so lightly. And so I asked again, can I please, pretty please have it, please? And so this counselor started to get annoyed because I kept asking a lot, and so they were like, no, and if you ask me again, you're gonna sit in the timeout when we get back to the camp. And so at this point, I realized that I completely lost this argument, and better luck next time. But when I get back in line, because we were still in like the line before we were gonna check out, we were behind like 2 or 3 people. I was stood next to the girl I was telling you about. Let's call her Amy or whatever. And also keep in mind that Amy heard everything, and so when I walked back to stand like next to her, she was like all judging me because I lost the argument. She was like, if you're a real man, then you would just take the bubblegum stuff anyways. I was like, I don't know if I should. She was like, no, just do it. You'll be so cool and I'll like you. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll trust you for a second. Which I'm telling you now, that was so stupid. I don't know why I took it anyways. It's so weird because like I'm an 8-year-old who didn't like girls in the first place. In my mind, if I take it, I'll have a great rest of the few days that I have the bubblegum or whatever, and I'll have this loser on my back that says they like me. Or I don't know what my thought process was, but either way, I'd get the bubblegum, so that's kind of a win. I walk up to the shelf, right? I take out not 1 pack of bubblegum, but 2 packs of bubblegum, and I put them in like my jeans pocket, which is a horrible way to do that because you can clearly see that there's something in there. Regardlessly though, I walk back in line, and like a few minutes pass, so I think I already won. Like I feel like I got away with everything. And so those 2 people that were in front of us move up. Our cart gets to the cash register, and you know what Amy does? So Amy walks up to the counselor, and she's like, Stern stole 2 packs of bubblegum. What a moron, bro. No, you're a snake. No one likes you. No one loves you. Go die. I hope you get a big cut in between your big toe and your middle toe, and I hope you have to get stitches, and I hope you have to wear a sock, and then I hope you go to gym and then start sweating in between that little gap there, and I hope the stitches like rub off and it gets infected and the stitches break off, and so you repeatedly have to restitch and stuff like that. I hate you. Okay, but yeah, Amy pulls a 6'9" and tells on me, and then the counselor looks at me and gives me the dead eye, and at this point I realize that I lost again, and so I take the gum out of my pocket, put it back on the shelf, and sit back in line. And so as I get back in line, the counselor's like, no, come back, we're not done yet. And so I walk up, and the counselor essentially just says, when we go back, we're gonna have to call your parent. And me being 8 or 7 or 6 years old, that kind of freaked me out, and it made me a little mad. I peed a little. It was pretty tough. And so I go back in line, and normally I would just like stand still and not try to do the exact same thing I did earlier that got me in trouble. Keyword would have. I decided to do something different this time. But yeah, I wait till the counselor stops looking. I walk back up to the shelf and take one of the 2 packs that I already took from the shelf. However, this time I made sure that no one was looking, so I could just like walk in and walk out, and no casualties would happen. And it worked. We loaded all the ingredients and stuff for the pasta back into the Sprinter van. We rode back to the camp, and I went back to my dorm. And instead of waiting, I decided that I was going to have some of the bubblegum that I took from the store. And we just got finished loading everything back onto like the kitchen table, because our dorm was like college dorms, were kind of like a hotel in a way, except there was a kitchen in the hallway. There was like a kitchen, and there was a game room and stuff like that. Also, the dorms were splits. Like one section would be all boys in the same like rooms, like one boy and then one roommate, which was a boy, and then it would be the exact opposite for girls, which would be one roommate, blah 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 blah. Regardless, I walk out chewing my gum, and I'm ready to cook some great pasta when the same counselor that took us shopping comes back in, sees me chewing on the gum, and is like, what are you doing? And I just turned pale. I got so freaked out once I saw him. I immediately stopped chewing my gum. I was like, nothing, there was something in my teeth. And he was like, are you sure? I was like, yeah. And so then he walks into my dorm room, goes through my bag, and finds the pack of gum, right? And so at that point I realized I just completely blew it. I failed, mission failed. But yeah, rightfully so. The counselor calls over one of those night guards that would watch us while we were sleeping. Well, not sounds weird out of context, but they were like outside. They were just making sure that no one ran off, or that like no one broke into the dorm room or something like that. Anyways, the night guard or whatever comes in, and the counselor basically explains everything that just happened and what he witnessed, and then I took the bubblegum stuff, which I was chewing, by the way. I was still chewing it. It was great. Once the guard gets up to speed, he did something that I did not expect a guard to do on an 8-year-old. He basically goes, I'm sorry to say this, but put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest for 2 counts of attempted murder. Not attempted murder, but he said something like attempted robbery or whatever, which I know now that wasn't really true, but he was just trying to say that to like scare me in order to like never do that again, you know what I mean? Well, actually, I guess it was kind of true, but at the same time, who's gonna press charges on an 8-year-old, bro? If you were to do that, you'd have to be like the spawn of Satan, unless the 8-year-old was actually crazy. But I know for a fact, I'm pretty sure that I possibly was not maybe crazy a little. At this point, I start crying, and the guard or whatever takes me to like this, it looked kind of like a principal's office, but it wasn't really a principal because it was a summer camp, but still. So he takes me up to the office, and they basically just call my parents and tell them. I end up getting chewed up on my parents, but surprisingly, I was not kicked out of the camp. I got to stay for an extra week. It was pretty nice. I even got to keep chewing the gum, so that was pretty great. I even ended up getting to keep the gum, which was kind of surprising. I thought they would have taken that away. But yeah, that's the story of how I got arrested, kind of not really, for stealing bubble gum. That sounds so stupid. But yeah, it's safe to say that nothing like that has ever happened ever again for like 1 or 2 years, and then I end up doing the same thing like 10 more times and only getting caught twice, which I'm not bragging, but still. Regardless, those are some stories for another time if I end up doing another story. Oh, and just to be horrifically clear, I don't do that, at least not anymore. I had a few too many scary scary incidents where I most definitely should not have done that. But as I said, it's all good now though. I'm pretty much a fantastic kid. You could ask anyone. And on that note, I think I'm just gonna wrap it up here. If you did enjoy, please give yourself a pat on the back for being happy, I guess. And yeah, stay in drugs, don't do school. I mean the other way around.